Well, I may have just found my new favorite mod for DCS World. Split Air just released their OV-10A Bronco mod, and it is absolutely fantastic. I'll put a link in the video description to their Discord server where you can download the mod. Donations are optional, but I would recommend supporting them for sure given the quality of this thing. The OV-10 is a simple aircraft that is relatively easy to fly and fight in, provided that you know what it's supposed to do. This is not a fighter or attack aircraft, which is a bit uncharacteristic for DCS World mods, but it is actually a forward air control and counterinsurgency aircraft whose primary mission is to spot targets for more capable aircraft or artillery to engage, hence the very high visibility cockpit here, especially to the sides and kind of down where other aircraft is more difficult to see out of. The OV-10's mission profile is a lot of treetop flying at low speed, but it can dish out the firepower for sure in its own right. The OV-10 can carry up to 4 rocket pods or 5 bombs in addition to its 4 M60 machine guns. This thing even has wing pylons for 2 AIM-9 Papa air-to-air missiles, although these missiles are only useful against jets from the rear aspect and they don't seem to work on helicopters at all. You can't understate the maneuverability and the versatility of this thing. It can take off and land from just about anywhere, including amphibious assault ships and aircraft carriers. The cockpit is partially clickable, as you can see here, and it is extremely well detailed. I really thought for a second that I was in an A-10A cockpit when I first spawned into this thing, and then I took a look. Wait a minute, I know this is not an A-10 cockpit. But the external model is fantastic as well. I mean, you can even see inside it the interior structure of the aircraft and the compartment for paratroopers, because they're not enabled currently, but the OV-10 could in real life carry, I believe, 4 to 5 paratroopers and dump them out of a door in the back of the aircraft of fuselage. So that is coming in a future release. And of course, all of the control surfaces are fully modeled. You can see here, I'm not completely sure what those are, spoilers or something like that maybe, that are rising out of the wing when I deflect the ailerons. But the elevator and the rudders all fully modeled. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take off. I've got a couple of Russian L-39s out there that are going to be approaching this base as soon as we take off. So I'm going to just put the throttle all the way forward. That's basically all you have to do to take off, unless you're taking off from a really short strip, in which case you would need to drop the flaps, maybe all the way to full. This thing, by the way, does not have nose wheel steering. You use differential braking or the rudders to steer, and the rudders only work when you're moving at speed. Takeoff velocity seems to be something in the neighborhood of 100 knots. I'll go ahead and get the gear up. And operating the weapons is pretty easy. All you have to do basically is, as long as you're not concerned about your ripple interval or anything like that, you pretty much just have to flip these 2 switches up for the guns. This is the master arm switch, flip that up, and then here's your pylon selection switches. So you have your trigger, which controls the guns, and then your weapon release button, which controls the weapons on your hard points. So right now I'm going to turn the 2 wing hard points on. Those are our sidewinders. Whoops. Bit of a head tracker issue there. And there's one of them. So I'm gonna try to make a slow and steady turn. As long as you keep the speed relatively high, the turn performance on this thing is pretty nice. You can see all of the dirt and everything that has been applied to the cockpit glass. That's pretty amazing. And there is that L39. And you can see here, even though I've got the crosshairs on him, the Sidewinder just isn't locking him up until now. I really don't think that's going to hit him, so I'm going to pull a little bit of lead and give him some guns. Yeah, there's definitely some hits going on there. We're too close for missiles at this point. Yeah, okay, yeah, now he's on fire, I think. Okay, we're getting a bit of lag here. Yeah, he just ejected. He's done. Alright, there's the other one. Better go back to full power. Whenever you're doing maneuvering in this thing, you definitely do want to be at full power. There he goes. Maybe we'll get to use a Sidewinder on him. Alright. I should be getting a lock unless he's turning or something. Looks like maybe he's running away, which you would think would be giving me a lock, but apparently not. The engagement parameters for these Sidewinders seem to be a little, oh, no wonder he is turning. That's what it is. So you basically have to be like, alright, Fox 2, we'll see if this hits him. And it did not. Fox 2. It's the last one. Oh, splash. Yep. That one got him. Good kill there. And now we're going to do a little bit of air-to-ground work now that we have taken care of the airborne threats, which is not something that you would typically see an OV-10 doing, but it's nice to have that capability in case whatever you might run into comes along, because you really do not want to be defenseless. Although those Sidewinders really don't seem to do much against helicopters. I have been playing around with this thing enough to know that things like the KA-50 don't really care that you have Sidewinders, because those AIM-9 Papas just really do not lock them up at all. So now I'm going to turn off the wing pylons here. And we're going to switch to the sponson pylons, where I have rocket pods. Now, you can also carry bombs on these, but rockets, generally, unless you know you've got some sort of heavy demolition work to do, I prefer the rockets. Because on the default gun sight setting, the rockets tend to go pretty much wherever you point them. So, we've got vehicles down here. And I believe that was all of our rockets. It might not have been, though. But we do have some blown up trucks there. Again, definitely want to be revving those engines up if you're maneuvering like this. This thing is surprisingly maneuverable, but it can go from very maneuverable to very, very prone to dropping out of the sky if you're not careful. Okay, well, that's the last of our rockets. So I'm gonna make one more pass with the guns, and then we're gonna land this thing, hopefully, and we'll call this a review. So I have to say I'm really impressed with this thing. Look at this firepower here. We get any more of them? It's difficult to tell. Yeah, there's one that I accidentally put half in the water. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So now I'm going to attempt to land this thing where we took off from, which is a very short unmarked strip here on Guam. But first I have to find the strip. There it is. And one thing that you want to keep in mind whenever you're landing on a short strip in this thing is that it has the ability to reverse its engines. The propellers are reversible, so we're definitely going to be using that. Shift and F brings down the flaps all the way. And now I'm going to throttle the engines back. And we're going to go full reverse here on those engines. And hold the wheel brakes. And that was a pretty short landing. So I think that's going to do it. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.